Welcome in, Kia ora, to another episode of the Podfathers. We are back after the heartbreak. Needed a couple weeks here to regroup and just feel a little bit better about ourselves. Got Tom and Bryan popping back on the pod. Appreciate you boys popping on. Bryan, I'll pass it on to you. How's everything been lately?
Very good. Other than the end of the season, life's great. But we get to look forward to next year a little bit, and that ha is happening later and later. As a Padre fan, you used to look forward to next year in like July, August,
Sometimes June.
even May,
Yeah.
if you want to go a few years further back. So there's hope, a window's still open, and ultimately, life's pretty good. The nation might be crumbling around us, but it's still hard to complain.
Yeah, that's the best thing about sports, right? Is it creates a diversion and just deviates your attention from what is actually going on in the world. And that's how I like to keep it too. That's why I don't like the whole like negative approach to just the teams I support in general, because it's like it's already a negative enough surrounding you and trying to squeeze you in. So you might as well just have a good time watching the teams you love. Just like the Blue Jays in the background, huh, Tom? How you been?
Yeah, I've been amazing. Well, amazing is a bit of an overstatement after the loss. But yeah, I've been again trying to block it all out. I went to my first NFL game on the weekend. I want to
Nice.
say that was fun, but I watched the Jags, so it was a bit boring. But yeah, apart from that, been doing pretty well. Back in uni, back into the flow of things, and not being depressed every night due to a certain baseball team.
Yeah, it's actually for us, we didn't have to spend any more money on postseason tickets, just looking positive, right? Right, Bryan?
I
So
think mine
that's
still got rolled over to next regular season's membership package, but that's okay. It gives me a head start.
yeah, can't get that yeah, that little money market and the high yield there. Damn it.
Yeah, they go ahead
Um
and take a few
that
percentage points off of me for 6 months, whatever.
Yeah, no, that they're just yeah, that's how they keep the big boys accumulate the wealth, right? So a smart move on their behalf. Well, I didn't, sorry. No, I just deferred all of my spending to next year because that's where we're gonna crush it because Haas is off the books. Finally, I feel like that is maybe just a sign that now that that's in the past, we can move forward. Um, Collectively, I know we're not going to, for this episode tonight, we're not really going to deep dive too much into exact, roster needs and construction and everything like that. Cause really come November, really December during the winter meetings, that's when we start to see a bit more action. So we'll go ahead and dive into a little bit deeper then, but no Haas. Um, it seems like we have the majority of our team back. There's probably going to be a lockout in 27, and we'll get into a few things as to why that is too. So like, let's just go for it in 26, right? Like, let's just we don't have hopefully any more death in the ownership group, right? So like, we have a some stability, I'd say, not like a ton, but better than where we were 12 months ago. So let's just go for it in 26. Is that fair, Bryan?
100%. Yeah, I mean, the window is still there with the core of the team, Loriano coming back,
Yep.
Miller coming back, all of those things. So, yeah, it's just about how well and seamlessly you transition to the leader of that clubhouse.
Hmm.
That's obviously going to be a big factor. Hiring from within, going outside to somebody who's new and inexperienced, or looking for a more veteran type individual that's maybe done it before and had
Hmm.
success. So I think that's definitely worth talking about here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely. That's the glaring hole, right? That just like out of nowhere, everyone knows about it now, but with Mike Schilt retiring, it looked like a legitimate retiring as well, just based upon what AJ said and he said.
I am suspect on that.
But like, why would you retire and give away a few mil? Like, if you're fired, I mean, they could still cover it up and just say, he's not on the books or anything for like salary. Or, I mean, obviously for salary, but for payroll, right, for the players and whatnot. So we can't. That's not like public information like it is for the players. But um, based off of what all the, funny how after everything, anything like that happens, you get a day or two after you start getting some reports and some chirps and whatnot. And the fact that it looked like he had a pretty poor relationship with all the coaching staff. And when you really reflect upon his time in St. Louis, it was kind of similar situation where it was like they went to the playoffs back to back years, had them like moving, they took over for LaRussa. Is that who after him? Or there might have
I
been
think there
one
was
before
somebody
that.
between.
And they either way, that's kind of like at towards the tail end of like the Cardinals golden era there in the early 2000s. I just remember them always being a thorn in our backside. Oh 06, oh 07, oh 08. I swear every postseason game I went to, they just like wiped the floor with us. But that was kind of the tail end of really embraced the Cardinals way. And then when he got fired, it was kind of like that's weird. Like, and then when he came to the Padres, he was in that like management advisor role, connecting AAA minors to the majors, and just kind of having a bit of a step back. And then we got stepped in
And
as
you heard about how
manager.
all the guys like loved him or after,
Yeah, yeah,
like
players loved
O'Mel
him.
was unceremoniously like let out of his contract. You heard all those like interviews and talk about like he's such a like player's manager, somebody
Yeah.
to talk to and be open with, and
Hmm.
seems like he actually cares.
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting that word back eventually about how there was a little bit of headbutting and some like prickly skin with other folks in the front office
Hmm.
and in the coaching staff. That led me to believe that him and AJ sort of came to an agreement
Just.
like, look, I can't let go of another manager, and you
Mm,
probably don't want bad optics on who you are as a manager. Why don't we find a common ground where maybe you retire, which is going to like so many managers retire and then come back in 3, 4 years.
yeah, yeah.
I
Hmm.
get to save a little face, you get to save a little face, and then we just part ways. Like that, that's where, but that's I go galaxy brain too many times too often. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it started to stink the more news that came out.
Yeah, yeah. They were very coordinated in all of their efforts, right? Um, I don't know. Yeah, you've definitely kind of swayed me now, Brian. I mean, I was kind of just playing all, dumb, like, oh yeah, he retired, whatever. But that makes complete and total sense.
And I,
Tom,
I
do you
totally get like you can
go
call it
ahead,
a
sorry.
retirement, like, but him wanting to take time off, I mean, that makes a ton of
And
sense.
he's
Like,
he's pretty young too, like for
doesn't look it.
man. No, he does not. That was the thing. Yeah, exactly. He's late fit. Was he 57, 58? He's like late 50s. He looks like he's like late 60s into his 70s type gig. So I understand why he's taking a break, but um
And you could
yeah,
tell. I mean, God, the end
yeah,
of the
took
season,
a
all
toll on
those
him.
post-game interviews, just like, oh, you are at the end of your rope, bud.
Yeah,
Like, you do not have the patience for any of this.
you are a
So I get
grumpy
it. Like,
old young man.
so a lot of the fan base and a lot of the media are kind of ingrates. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
they just don't remember how bad it used to be. And I feel like he got a little too much of a hard time. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. Tom, do you think it was a bit of a preconceived firing that happened, or
I mean, I can definitely see why he was stressed on the job. Like selling out pretty much every home game. The pressure's on. We're like as desperate as ever to win the World Series. Like everything's on him. And like you said, with all due respect, he does not look 57. So I can see why you take a break. Like I probably wouldn't even last a day in that role. It's completely fair enough. But like I feel like at this point as Padres fans, we just need to expect the unexpected because it feels like every offseason something's happening that we're not really expecting. Like obviously last year there was the whole lawsuit thing, and then obviously before Peter when he died, and then
yeah,
it's so like I don't know. It takes a lot of grit to be a Padres fan. That's all I'm saying. And a manager, clearly.
yeah, and
What's
it's
crazy is like you can go back
mhm,
like to basically like the expansion of the franchise, like
yep,
1969, born into a league that doesn't have free agency yet. So already
mhm,
like you're behind the eight ball, right?
yeah,
Then you get
very
another
screwed.
great billionaire owner, Ray Kroc, builds a great team. He
Hmm.
dies.
Yep.
The wife takes over. She, God bless her, like, not doing the best
Hmm.
at things. So, there's a lot of like changeover there. And then you bring in Towers and Moores. That's awesome. That's going great. Oop, he's gonna get a divorce. So let's
Yep.
liquidate these assets so I can sell this off. Starts the sale process with a grifter. Thank God MLB stepped in and blocked it. But just like like you could go back decades and
Yep.
it's always something with this club, which I don't think like the general baseball fan totally knows. Like someone needs to do like a mini doc or break this thing down in the timeline. So I think you like looked at it all, just like every time you just get some momentum, just something happens. It's wild.
And it's just right when things are getting good too. It's
Yeah.
it's not where it's like,
They
oh,
went to the
we've
World
been
Series that year
yeah,
that Ray
yeah,
died.
yeah, literally 98, or excuse me, no, the
80,
70
84.
84, 84.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, he didn't die in 98. 84, and then even at the end of the Towers, well, not Towers and the owner, but more reign, right? We still were, even though record weren't great, we were fairly successful, like as with where our situation was. And then it seems like with Peter, we finally were like, oh, this is it. We're gonna really round the corner here. Obviously, as you mentioned, Tom, like he passed away there, and it was just yeah. And then on top of it, you chuck in like a Bo Mel who and a Mike Schilt, who's really supposed to just kind of steady the ship after Jace and Andy Green and our transitional period with those managers there. And Bo Mel's gone in 2 years. And then Schilt's gone in 2 years. It's like, dude, what the fuck is going on here? Like we can't even string together long-term veteran managers for a bit. So with AJ, I mean, AJ's contract being up at the end of 26 clearly is tied to the manager decision. I mean, if he gets extended, he's gonna get his guy, and obviously, I feel like that's probably the one holdup from Grupner ownership group is, do they trust him to go through that process again? Do they think he is a bit too controlling? I know he's given up some control, and that's paid a lot of dividends in the scouting department. I don't know. Do you feel like maybe that's where it's hanging up with the extension? Because
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to
I
get a
think
guy
it's
that he can puppet. That's ideally who he wants, right?
totally. I mean, I think it's very likely that the extension is hanging on other influence on that decision, right?
Hmm.
Just, they'd be like, look, we really love you. You've obviously done great things for this club, and you're probably the hardest working GM in the entire league, but you might have a little bit of a blind spot here. So I think, group, whoever else, like, I don't think it'll be one of the Seedlers, but just having more consultation on that managerial hire might be the caveat in the
Hmm.
extension. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I do think he obviously likes inexperienced managers outside of
Yeah.
Bowmel, who they were happy to let go early in his contract. He's got 3 full years of managerial experience in his other three hires, and those 3 years
Yeah.
are one guy. It's 0 years, 0 years, 3 years, and then Bowmel.
Yep.
So I think he would be very happy with a Pujols. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think
Hmm.
he would love that guy because he probably thinks that guy is a little bit easier to influence.
Yep. Here's the lineup card.
Might come asking for
Hmm.
opinions and can kind of pull his strings a bit, whether he is or isn't. Like he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
But from where I sit, I really feel like, the Padres need a Padre,
Hmm.
for to try to get cute with it. Like they need a dad, they need an adult in the room. I think bringing somebody in that's closer to a peer that a couple of these guys even played with. I don't know if that's the right approach, and it especially is not going to work if he's wanting to bring in Ramon Martinez. Like
Mm.
I like having like losing Yabla is an absolute non-starter for me. And I don't know if it is for him too. Like if I'm coming in, I'm hiring my entire coaching staff, but I wouldn't like that.
No, I think that's really the number one priority is hanging on to Ruby. Like that's it. Like however that sees fit, if that's Pujols is the one that keeps him, if it's Hernandez, the broadcaster who just came up today as a potential option. If it's,
I think that was just him saying like, "Hey, I'm interested." Like
yeah, I mean, why not?
without
Yeah.
there's any traction. I'm
No.
all. interested,
I'm
but I
interested.
haven't talked to AJ about it either. Like I am in the same position as Ramon Martinez. So
I mean, yeah, I'm down. Tom, are you down to move to San Diego
Yeah,
to manage
I'll
the
do it.
Pods? You said you wouldn't
Happy
last a
days,
day,
yeah.
but
If
fuck
it
it.
gets me a
we'll
visa, then yeah, go
crowdsource
on.
the managerial role. We'll just take polls on Twitter. I'm sure that's what all the fans would really love.
Oh, dude, yeah, they would absolutely love that. We just need yeah, someone on Twitter could easily take over. There are a bunch of know-it-alls on there. So,
Uh,
yeah, I feel like if Pujols is going to be the guy that comes in, that probably means AJ is going to stick around for a longer period of time and get an extension. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, it seems like if they're going to go for an inexperienced manager, then that means that AJ's job's probably going to be more secure. If not, then I don't know. Because I mean, off the top of my head, there's not a ton of obvious options right now. I mean, Bochy just is not with the Rangers anymore. But if I'm him, dude, just like I know he took his little hiatus and he was managing Team France, I think it was for the World Baseball Classic or trying to get them there. Just like the poor guy can barely make it to the mound and back at this point in time. Like, just got to probably ride off into the sunset. Buddy Black, like, do you really like want to go back to someone like
I don't know
him?
how you get back to that well.
Like you know what I mean? Like, there's not really that obvious veteran candidate. So that's where like a guy like Yair Molina or Albert Pujols or something, like Kurt Suzuki just got hired by the Angels today. Nick
How about
Hundley
Brad
was,
Ausmus get another chance?
yeah, Brad Osmus. I like some catcher, like seriously, like an ex catcher. Yeah, Nick Hundley was deep into the Giants role, and then supposedly they got the coach from Tennessee, and now that's kind of not happening. It's so, um, yeah, I think any route with a catcher, I think I'd be good with. Tom, is there anyone that's kind of jumping off the page for you that you'd want to bring in?
Yeah, I quite like Bruce Bochy. I think obviously he wasn't good for the Rangers in the last 2 years of his managerial role, but he won the World Series. Like that is all we're looking for, just one. And if
And
he
come
can
for a
do that, and
year. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a
just
good
come for
point.
a year, come for a year, and then do whatever you want after that, retire, whatever. But like he
Fair.
took us to the World Series, didn't he?
Yeah,
In
98.
Yeah,
Hmm.
not yet, yeah, yeah. So if he can, he's got the capability. Bring him in for 1 year and then start worrying about it afterwards. I like him. I don't know about Pujols though. I don't really. I'm not too keen on him. Obviously never managed before, so that's pretty much my only reason. And I don't know if he turned down the Angels or the Angels turned down him, but I don't know if that's a good sign.
Yeah,
In all the interviewing, like I don't really want Prado or Gruden to just go straight in like, oh, Pujols legend, Hall of Fame, all that, sign him
yeah.
up. Like I want to make sure it's someone who actually can manage and just isn't a name.
Hmm.
So.
Totally.
I think he wanted a coaching staff entirely, right? Brian, is that what you saw too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
crazy they couldn't get that deal done because they're
he's
paying
getting
him
paid. Yeah.
a million. Yeah, he's on a personal services contract.
It's like,
And a lot of those services include like mentorship, spring training instruction, like advisory, like doing a lot of
coaching.
managerial things
Yeah.
already. You figure like you're a club that's obviously in transition. Why not just pay them a little extra than what you already are while you sort of like rebuild? But they can't
It's
get
the
anything
Angels.
right, which is why like I wouldn't blame Pujols for not wanting to be a part of
No.
a more serious level, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Angels were too ignorant and naive to give the guy they're already paying a chance. So that doesn't shock me.
No, neither does, to be honest. And yeah, if it's Pujols too, I mean, the job that he takes is his first managerial job. That could make or break the rest of your career, honestly. There's some
Sure.
guys that come straight in their first job and, they'll go for a team like the Marlins or, someone that's been underperforming for the last few years. And that could be a detriment to the longevity of their career just because they're taking that first opportunity that arises as opposed to the best.
Yeah.
So,
That's why you see a lot of those guys take a club that is in transition to like get their
mhm.
feet wet, and then there's not a lot of expectations. So it's like, well, we're not going to blame you for,
Yeah,
managing a team that we know isn't set
exactly.
up for success. But I guess the one thing I will say about him is that like he played under one of the best managers in the history of the game.
Hmm. Hmm.
He is a student of hitting, which is something that like we could do. Obviously, he's going to bring in a hitting coach and that sort of thing, but I don't know, having those like I hate the word intangibles, but I'll use it. You know what I mean? Like the guy that like he's done it before. He knows what it takes
Yeah.
for a whole club to rally
Hmm.
and do the damn thing. And he's seen how a really, really good manager like accomplishes that.
Hmm.
And then you bring in someone like Yachty, who is an absolute game manager, a staff manager,
100%.
smartest player on his squad, and probably the game over.
Hmm.
Just the best instincts. Like, oh my gosh, I will watch Yachty like back pick, in the World Baseball Classic. Like does so many things that are just like instinctual and right,
Yep.
smart. Like, I'd love to have that guy be a part of a staff
Hmm.
some way. Um, and maybe
100%.
comboing all that up like that does it. But yeah, I'm like Tom, I'm a little hesitant to go inexperienced again. Uh,
Hmm.
and I think mostly because it means that like AJ is probably still trying to puppeteer the thing. It's the only knock I have against the guy. I'm a big AJ stan. Everybody knows it,
Yeah.
but it seems at this point now we can call that a blind spot.
100%. Yeah. Everyone's got one, you know? Well,
Yeah, nobody's
mostly everyone.
perfect.
Yeah. Tom doesn't, actually. Sorry, Tom. I don't know why I lumped you in. Never use absolutes. Uh, never always use absolutes. I I personally prefer Yachty as well. I feel like he hasn't gotten as much attention as Pujols, and I think that's because Albert's been so involved in the managerial race for the Angels, or was. So he's kind of gotten a bit more of the attention. But I would absolutely love Yachty. I mean, Yachty would be my number one. I mean, he was like, you go from Pudge to him just from a catcher standpoint in the MLB. It was just like the era of the catchers around their time frame, like how Pudge started it and then Yachty kind of finished it. Just that everything, game management, defense, like even offensively, like they were more than capable. Like clutch, had an absolute cannon. Like worked with probably 1,000 pitchers over their career. Like that's why a lot of these new managers are ex catchers. I mean, i.e., not even new managers, but Bruce Bochy, catcher, right? So
Yeah.
it's the closest thing to managing as a player for a position. So it's a more natural transition. So I would prefer Yachty probably out of the two. I would almost want like Yachty there with Pujols as the bench coach because then he can truly have kind of more of a say with the offensive
Sure.
approach. But again, that's if assuming AJ stays, I feel like that would be at least a good trade off of someone that's inexperienced. I wish that they came to this conclusion a week prior because we probably could have got freaking Skip to come in. He would have absolutely been
Mhm.
my number one option out of all the candidates that were available. So, but can't change that now. I wish Skippy the best of luck for sure. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what we do. Um, I kind of like your. I was just saying, let Bochy ride into the sunset, Tom. How about he ride into the sunset after during lockout? Just sign him to a 1 year deal. Just like let's just go for it in 26 and then figure it out. You got 2 years to figure it out, or 3 or 6 months or whatever. Figure it out after that.
Yeah, I mean, and like bring in a guy that like, because I'm sure he doesn't
Win
mind
now.
too much. I'm sure he's not too precious about his staff. It's just like throw
Yeah.
some ideas about like, okay, who's the heir apparent? Like, right? Like we know you
Hmm.
don't want to be with this club for an extended period of time. Like bring a guy along that you like, that we all like and agree upon, and then like we just groom him to take this thing over post lockout.
I'm not opposed at all. I feel like once the MLB season is officially over as well, we'll start to get obviously a bit more of a clear direction as to who's actually available. But yeah, no, but Bochy's like definitely the number one choice, I would say. I just don't think that I honestly don't think that he would want to, but who knows? Who knows?
I don't think AJ would want him either.
No, that's the thing. I don't think that would be a natural fit. I mean, you do kind of look at the way. I mean, AJ, we'll wrap this up here in a sec, but AJ hiring Jace, like that was his buddy, right? You had Andy Green, that was like an easy hire from, not an easy hire, but you know what I mean? Like it made sense at the time. And then you went with Bo Mel, massive friction. Then you went
Yeah,
with
like
Schill,
overcorrected, I think, right? Like when
100%.
like, okay, I've got zero experience. Now let me go
Hmm.
with experience, but the guy is just like not a leader of men.
Yeah, no, gosh. He's just, yeah, he's not a leader of anything. My goodness. I don't know. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Again, final point on that. keep Ruby at all costs, and he's well rooted here with the everything set up at Point Loma, Nazarene, and stuff like that. But just keep him, keep him, keep him. That's literally the only thing I really care about at this point.
I
Um,
think Victor Rodriguez has to go,
yeah, I think he'll
especially
probably
after
go.
his past two
I'm pretty sure
postseasons.
that's going to happen
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah,
I
Mm.
think whoever comes in is going to say like, this is who I want bench, this is who I want hitting, and I'd have to imagine that like most people would love to inherit a Ruben Niebla.
100%. You don't even have to go look for a guy. Like it's just like, hello, he's right there. He knows the whole
Great.
staff.
That's a whole department I don't have to worry about. Set that and forget it.
Like, and
Just
especially if
him
you're a little
pretty much every
inexperienced,
week.
like one less thing that you got to do. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's like, oh, he's got the pitching taken care of. Sounds
Totally.
good.
By the way, I would also be fine if they wanted to offer it to him. I'm not sure that he even wants it. Maybe he just wants to stay like, one of the best pitching coaches in
Specialist.
the league and just be that guru guy. But yeah, if I would be totally okay with him getting a shot at it too. Okay, he knows the clubhouse, knows the front office.
Yeah.
And let's see,
If he put his name in the hat, I think you got to pick him. Like that's it. Again, keep him any way you can. I feel like he kind of, with what he's building personally, like with where his kids are, how, he lives in San Diego. I kind of see him sticking as the pitching coach and just being that contingent of, like anyone coming in, you bring whoever you want in, but Ruby's here. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's probably how it's going to unfold. But if he wants to, it's just your job security as a pitching coach, just like Darren Balsley, just like all those guys, Mark Pryor's been with the Dodgers for ages. There's a lot of these pitching coaches stick around for 10, 15 years sometimes, where as a manager, that's much more difficult to do. So, I see him sticking and wanting to, but what the hell do I know? So,
yeah.
but AJ, you boys want him extended? I'm assuming yes, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think all the positives like just severely outweigh the negatives.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, and I did a little bit of a breakdown between him and Kevin Towers. Interestingly enough, I hate to talk poorly about anyone that's passed, obviously, but there was one guy on Twitter that said he's a little bit older. He like grew up with, he knew like Randy Jones's family or something, and he said that Kevin Towers and Uncle Teddy were like the biggest pricks in person. um, so that was interesting because you just see stuff from a surface level if you're not exposed to it. But yeah, I met Kevin on numerous occasions. I was lucky enough to grow up with Randy Jones as a family friend. As a kid, Randy took me everywhere. Everyone that's spoken about Randy Jones just said the best things about him. I met him in spring training probably 10 years ago, and he was the nicest guy. I'm not reading from this guy's tweet. That's me personally. He's fantastic, perfect figurehead of the club.
yeah, Griggs is a great ambassador.
He's a fantastic ambassador. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. But two MFers, I'm sure you know what that means. I will never forget in that organization, both huge pieces of shit. When the cameras or the mics were off, it will always be Ted Leitner and Kevin Towers. I was like, wow. And you could tell that came from like a personal, like burning, like he was affected by that. So that was interesting because I did say RIP to the special man to Kevin Towers. I didn't know him, how he acted. Again, don't like
Also, like, is this guy talking like from one experience that he had? You know what I
it,
mean? Like,
I met Kevin on numerous occasions is how
all
he
right.
started it. So, yeah, you can catch him on a bad day or something, but
I can see that with Teddy. I mean that
100%.
that's not too far fetched.
No, that his blow up with the suitcase, you hear that at UNLV or whatever it was. I think it was like the Mountain West tournament. He
Yeah.
was just going off. You probably haven't heard it, Tom, but cranky man,
I
you could
remember it.
see. Yeah. That was good stuff. But anyways, between the two, because Kevin Towers is lauded as the GOAT of Padre GMs, which first of all is not that hard to do. Second of all, he did a fantastic job with his resources and transitions and everything like that went on. But over his 15 seasons, he had 9 losing seasons. He with a 1,178 and 1,252, so he had a 45 win percentage, one World Series appearance. Whereas AJ has had 7 out of 10 losing seasons combined, 806 at it, 806 wins, 874 losses for a 480 win percentage, so right about the same. no World Series appearances, obviously. Um, so really between the two, I know that especially towards the tail end of AJ's reign, he's had basically unlimited resources, except for the last couple of years. You know, for the few years at the end there with Pete, it was like basically unlimited. You can't write off the beginning of his tenure, but personally, I just feel like the growth, it sounds so cliche, but the growth of him as a GM has been immense. He's matured a ton in a lot of different areas from
Agreed.
day one to now. Um, and then the teams that he inherited, I know someone on here too was saying like, oh, he had, Trey Turner and all these other guys in the system that they weren't MLB ready talents. Like that's like a terrible argument. The team that he inherited, the state of the franchise that he inherited, it was in a really, really bad spot. So you can't write off the first few years, but there's a little bit of a caveat there. I really think that he's starting to kind of show his true worth, especially in these last couple years when he's had not unlimited resources. And we've been through this so many times because we're all AJ stands. But all that to say is, I think he gets a bit too much hate collectively, considering where the Padres have gone in the last, 6, 7 years personally. And you're
Totally.
going to
I
agree with me with that,
don't
but
think people realize like, where we came from, and if you're giving Kevin Towers the dub because
yeah,
of one World Series appearance, I think that's unfair
yeah,
because we play in the same league now with those Yankees. Like
hmm,
we saw those Yankees that nobody was going to beat in 98,
no,
and we got there because they were in the opposite league. You know what I mean? If the
yep,
Dodgers were in the AL East, we would have gone to a World Series. I am certain of it, at least one. So
100%.
like,
Yeah.
but you can't fault him for the competition that's in front of you. Um, like he built World Series capable teams, you know what I mean? And then you
Yeah.
just like 98 is like he we're in a window with a buzzsaw, which to me is
Hmm.
fun. Like I
Super
think
fun.
I love having an evil empire. I love having a bad guy that everybody outside of three counties is rooting against. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also like that like we are like the front line of that defense system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the best chance to make the rest of the league's fans happy, it is us. Is like
Hmm.
I think that's great, which is why like I'm actually against a salary cap. Like I don't want that. I don't think it's necessary, but
Hmm.
that's just
No,
me.
yeah, and that's where like me personally growing up as a Padres fan, right? Like 98 going to a World Series game that my dad took me to. I was 4 years old. That was the first game I ever went to. I don't remember shit. I was 4 years old. Like my kind of bread and butter of success was 82 and 80, like 81, 500 win the division. Going, I think we had 87 wins maybe in like '05 or something like that, or maybe 89. We weren't very good. Like we were successful because of where we were compared to what the Giants and the Dodgers and the Rockies and the Diamondbacks were doing. But to your point, Brian, like look at the level of competition that we're having to face day in and day out now, versus like that golden era of like the mid 2000s. I mean, we the last 5 years, ever since COVID, really, we have been in the best period of Padres baseball in my lifetime that I can remember. So you got to give some credit to whoever's at the top doing that. In this case, Peter Seidler played a massive role because it always starts from the top, right? Talking about consistency, you've had Spanos as a consistency, right? And they've had consistent non-success because he's such an incompetent dickhead, right? So there's that consistency factor is key, but if you're consistently shit, you're going to be consistently shit, right? So, anyways, with Peter, like he deserves a ton of credit, but him and AJ worked so well together that you have to give AJ some credit. And the fact that people refuse to do so, it's just you're just it's like the people that we were saying before we started with saying Otani had a not that impressive of a game in game 4. Like it's just a biased standpoint that you're willing to die on this hill or Mount Everest. So,
And it's
yeah.
just frustration, and
Yeah.
fans have vent that somewhere. So you're gonna blame that guy, the guy that's given you the most success for some reason. And my question to these folks was always like, okay, so who is it then? If it's not AJ, what GM that is available that you get right now. The grass is always greener. So tell me where you see greener grass with that position today. Nobody has an answer because they don't know. It's not like they're
No.
watching how good other GMs
Yeah.
work and trade and develop and scout and
Oh, the head of scouting for
culture.
the
They just see their
Rockies.
small window of
Yeah.
their own team
Yeah.
and don't like the fact that they still haven't found a World Series in the last 6 seasons. So they get the pitchforks and torches out. It's mental. It's insane.
I, I had someone on, I know Twitter is just a cesspool of shit, but I had someone saying that Josh Burns was like left the organization in such a good spot for AJ and he ruined it basically. And I was just like, you've got, he was fired like in a really, really poor team. Like he was terrible, like absolutely horrible. Like I
That's one
just,
of the dumbest things I've heard come out of that app, and it's a pretty dumb app.
yes, I know when I, and like tried to like double down about it too. And it's just like, I just, yeah, sometimes that's when it's like time to log off. That's it.
Yeah.
No more of social media for the day. But what you did touch upon, though, that we'll kind of transition to next with the salary cap, I completely am with you. I think that a salary cap is not necessary. I mean, others will look at it because of the NFL, because of the NHL, because the NBA has a salary cap and it works well for those. One thing's for certain, the players would never agree to that. So it's not going to happen. It just, it won't. However, the salary floor or some sort of revenue sharing or something of that nature to have a minimum amount of revenue invested into your salary for the year to make it a more competitive output for baseball is 100% necessary. So I am with you, Brian. I don't think there needs to be a salary cap whatsoever. Tom, do you think there should be a salary cap, or what are your thoughts on that?
I prefer salary floor. Just make it completely fairer. I mean, I don't. There's one certain team that I don't like spending a lot of money, which is probably the reason I'm being biased and saying I wouldn't mind the salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
But like as well, I wouldn't mind like a salary cap that goes up like every so often, or like every year, every 2 years, something like that. But a
Adjusted for
salary
inflation.
cap, yeah, pretty much, yeah. Just so a team isn't just spending an absolute fuck ton in one off season just because they feel like it, just because they got a new owner or their owner's actually willing to spend or they've had a rough stretch, something like that. But yeah, I think a salary floor is definitely needed. It kind of gives some owners of like smaller market teams a bit of a kick up the arse. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, we got the A's, the Rays,
Pirates. Yeah,
Pirates,
raise up.
yeah. Yeah, so it kind of gives them a kick up the arse and says, you know, you've got to compete. Like, this is baseball is such a fair game. Like, it's why I prefer it
Mm-hmm.
to Premier League, for example. It's not the same winners every year. Hopefully, I'm not jinxing that. But yeah, it's I love how fair this game is, and you're gonna need one of them to keep it that way.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up the Prem because they kind of have a similar system that baseball does with their financial fair play and everything. I know it's not exactly the same, but there's not that hard salary cap, and you've seen that imbalance of power in the Prem. But to pivot back to baseball, you if to me it's if you're committing to be an owner for a team, there needs to be some standards and rules in place that not only encourages but mandates you to spend on your team. Now, you can run it like a business because it is a business, and a lot of people also don't see that as well. To bring up the Dodgers, like they don't need to spend that much. They make a shit ton of money. They could spend $100 million left and pocket that, but their ownership group is willing to fork that out and do so. And finding a loophole. It's not illegal what they've done, but they've committed to a loophole that has worked. So you like
And we have no idea how that's going to play out 10
no,
years from
no,
now when they have dead money
zero.
on the books for a decade plus. Like, it's obviously going to hurt the valuation of the team, but at that point, I mean, if their plan works out, they're not going to care because it will have netted them like 3 World Series,
Yep.
maybe more. You know,
And article came out that they apparently made like $700 million in revenue off of Otani alone this year. So like it totally depends on how you do it, who you're giving it to. If you're giving 40, 60 million to Tanner Scott, probably bad investment, right? But you just got to have some that balance out there. So yeah, I just there needs to be some stricter standards for the owners to, if you want to be an owner in the MLB or for any sporting franchise, but specifically in this case, the MLB, you're gonna have to spend X amount and you'll still make
yeah,
money. Like the league is there for the revenue sharing and whatnot, but that should be the minimum requirement. And if you can't do that, Bob Nutting, get out. Like
yeah, I'm
you
sure there's a
can't.
lot of people with a lot of money that would love to own a baseball franchise. And I
Yeah.
don't even think it needs to be a hard floor, right? Because each market is different.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You have to reinvest a competitive amount of your revenue
Hmm.
into the on-field product,
Hmm.
right? Like, and I don't know what that percentage point is to get you there, but like what the Pirates have been doing recently is just pathetic and sad, benching guys that are close to incentive
Oh gosh.
bonuses. I mean, just insane. And like,
Yeah.
from the player's side of things, if you're arguing for a salary cap, essentially what you're saying is like you don't want players to make as much money as they can, which is why I don't
Yeah.
like it. Like you guys are
No,
worth $750 million if you're Shohei Ohtani, and there are other guys coming up that deserve to get paid that much.
dude.
So for me, it is a version of a floor. And then I way that I think you get competitive is the TV distribution money
Mm-hmm.
because that
100%.
is
Hmm.
such a massive advantage for the Dodgers that exists on a platform that's available, wherever. It's a league product. Your
Hmm.
jersey
Hmm.
sales, your stadium, things like that. Like it's all well and good. But if you're making $334 million a year just in your TV deal, and you're only going to give 48% of that back to the league, I mean, the disparity there
It's bad.
between, the Padres, I think the Diamondbacks, like any
Hmm.
team that was with Diamond when they went bankrupt that are now getting 20 to $35 million a year because MLB found a quick fix.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
They
that's
want
that
control.
that's massive. I mean,
Yeah.
you talk about it like on a yearly basis, that's an extra 160 something million dollars, like 120 to 180,
Yeah.
that I think really should be almost majority league revenue. That should be rev
Hmm.
share pot, at least more than 48%. Like
Yeah.
maybe it's more like 80. I say all of it, but and then I think you don't have to worry about a salary cap. Like again, because this is
Yeah.
based
Yeah.
off of the market where you have the most subscribers and eyeballs. So the fact that 9 million people can get Spectrum is what warrants a $334 million a year TV deal. It should have nothing to do with the rest of the league. Like that's not, they got to play
No.
somebody. There's other teams in the league going to play them on TV
Yeah.
every time. So
Yeah.
like that's what the NFL does. Okay.
Hmm.
Salary
Hmm.
cap in the other leagues, I don't believe, because if you look at parity over those leagues, championship parity, MLB has greater parity.
Yeah.
They've seen more individual championship winners over the past 20 years than any other league has. And there hasn't been a repeater in, I don't know, I mean, how long? It's been a long
Since
time.
the Yankees. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's a lot of, sour grapes and people upset because their teams got asked out and they see another team doing really well. I hate the Dodgers for a lot of reasons, but spending money
A
on
ton.
players and being aggressive is not one of them.
No. What's funny is I actually couldn't even get fucking cable in San Diego where I grew up because it just didn't go down my road. Like I was in San Diego County, it stopped about a few hundred yards up the road and we were like 2 miles down this road and I couldn't even get it. So that's why I love going to my grandparents' house, obviously to see them. But then also they had Cox, Channel 4, baby. So, and then we
Channel
got
4.
Slingbox. Like it wasn't on DirecTV, like it was only on Channel 4. But anyways, yeah, no, if you have 20 million people living there and they all got Spectrum, which is a monopoly, by the way,
Oh yeah.
um, then of course they're gonna get like you're waking up on Jan 1 and it's like we're 100 million ahead. Like it's just you're a whole furlong ahead for Tom's lingo here at the horse racing.
Right.
So Yeah, I mean the Mets, just looking at the 24 revenue to payroll plus luxury tax, Mets had 90% payroll to revenue. They're the highest. So they spent
They are the Chelsea of MLB.
100%.
Just
Which,
like active spending money, just
yep.
spending it in the wrong
Yeah.
places and can't get any traction.
No, like literally can't. And funny enough, the Dodgers owner is actually a
And
Chelsea
fans
owner,
hate
but
them. And it's like, you guys were
yeah,
trying. We're just doing it a little wrong. It's not for a lack of
no.
trying.
No. They're putting where their money where their mouth is, but yeah, they'll be sweating about it every year. Every night I'm sure they're waking up with freaking nightmares. It's a sketchy year out to go. No
You think
Champions
Steve
League.
Cohen's losing sleep?
No, dude, it's freaking there ain't no way. No
He's
way.
probably still okay.
Yeah,
But it seems like
he's
he
fine.
cares. Like he makes
He
statements
does.
and is
Yeah.
transparent. So it's like
Hmm.
you have to at least appreciate that, right? I know it sucks that you guys can't go over the hump, but like you could be a White Sox fan or a Pirates fan. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Continue with
No.
the
And
numbers.
that's what you want from an owner, right? Is just
Yeah.
transparency and willing to spend on your team, right? So 90%. Dodgers are second at 73. So in 24 they made 752 million, spent 549 payroll and tax. It's unreal. 550 million dollars. The Padres were sixth in payroll to revenue percentage. They brought in 432 and they forked out 275.
Now, when people
So
hear that number and where it sits relative to the league,
correct.
we maybe don't want to complain so much about like season ticket increases because at least we're showing you that like we're reinvesting it, guys. Like we're not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
pocketing, the
No.
inflation fees here.
64% at
Yeah.
that. So like,
And I think like I mean it's deviating a little bit, but if you look up like ticket cost ranks,
mhm.
I think we were like ninth or 10th. So it's like we're spending more money than we're charging.
Yeah, thank you to Gallagher Square for one. That was a very good investment. Not only for that, but then you could show because we went from like second or third down to like 10th. And I was like,
Hmm.
you sneaky little shits.
You think that's they found
You'd
a way to
send
bring
three more
down the
thousand
game.
tickets at $20. There goes that average. You sneaky little bastards. Good
Hey,
job.
smart.
That was a good move though.
Good story.
Um, and then like even if we're looking at like so it went just real quick, I won't give all the numbers because we'll be here for an hour, but or another hour. Mets, Dodgers, Blue Jays. So shocking. Two of the top three teams that fork out what they bring in are in the World Series. Phillies, Diamondbacks, Padres, Rangers, Angels, Royals, excuse me, Baltimore. There's three teams right there that jump off the page that is inexplicably ridiculous that they're not in the top 10. The New York Yankees are 11. The San Francisco Giants are 14th. And the Boston Red Sox are 23rd with 42% of their payroll to revenue.
Wow.
Bottom, the teams that and you could also chuck the Cubs into that too. They made $584 million and they forked out 213 on their roster. So 36.4. They were bottom five, which is if I'm a Cubs fan, I mean they had a good year. It's covering up a little bit, but there's a
They
reason
didn't do anything
why.
at the deadline really either, did they?
No, no, they lost Steele. Like there was more than enough revenue to be forked out there. The Red Sox have been cheap as
That fan base should
shit.
be pissed. This is
Yeah,
what all fan
yes,
bases need is perspective. Like
100%. We are spending double what they are from a percentage of payroll to revenue. So it's not all bad being a Padres fan. Of course, you want to be up there where the Dodgers and Mets and all them are doing. But like, look at our market. You know what I mean? That's where huge props to the Diamondbacks hitting a spot above us at fifth.
right.
Like, and look at what the success that they have. Amazing. It's like, hang on a minute. They made a World Series, have been competitive. Bottom five: Cubs, Pirates, Rays, White Sox, Marlins. Shocking, right? So 27% for the Marlins in regards to revenue to payroll. 317 brought in, 86 put out. And that's where the floor, for our whole argument there is.
Is that still Jeter's group or did he get out of that?
Yeah, this is still Jeter's group. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So yeah, we could really go down a rabbit hole, but he actually changed the state of New York's ruling for what constitutes a day spent in New York versus not for tax purposes because he resided in Florida in the off season. And so for the state of New York, if you touch down on an airplane, it counts as a day living there. So that's how they were able to tax him on income. Fun fact.
Yeah,
So,
when that happens, when the Dodgers are going to
mhm.
take a pay cut for these first couple games at least,
Yeah, yeah, true.
when they go play in Toronto,
Yeah, yeah, yep.
they're gonna lose half right off the jump.
Shane Ray is a bummer.
That's why. Who was it? That went from Miami, which is like the best of income
Perfect.
tax
No
in the
income
state,
tax.
and then they
Yep.
got traded to the Blue Jays. Um,
Oh,
if you gave me a second, I'd get it. But like, dude essentially lost half of his salary
yep.
in a trade that like he couldn't control.
Yep.
Was
Yep.
it
100.
Reyes? I think it was Reyes.
Yeah, it was Reyes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
just like that's crazy.
No, and that's where, yeah, that's a whole other discussion of like where guys sign and money and everything. That's why Greinke went to the Diamondbacks too and stuff like that. But um, yeah, pretty crazy. So all that to say, Tom, salary floor. Do you agree?
Yep, I do
He's like
100%
he's
agree.
like and a cap. And I don't think that like I think that's a fair point of view or opinion to have a cap. I can see why you could argue for it. So, but
Or just give us more of your TV money, all right? Like you look at if your revenue is 700 plus million, like you're talking almost half of that is coming from your TV deal,
yeah,
which is a league product. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, they're not playing themselves, right? So
That's
just
right.
like you said, Brian. Yeah. So I don't know. There 2027 will be interesting. I'm fully expecting some sort of lockout. Hopefully it's obviously not the full year, but I mean, this is probably the most pressing lockout, most division between the PA and the owners, I'd say, since the 94 lockout, right? I know that the or 2 times ago we got kind of close to having a bit of a lockout and they figured it out right in spring training, I think. Can't remember what year that
There
was,
was
but
still a delay to the season, right? Like I feel like
I
this
think so.
happened. Like, why does this
Mhm.
league just like never again, like
No.
cannot get traction? You know what I mean? I
And,
feel
and
we
let's like
go through
agree to
this.
10-year terms or something, right? Like, well, let's do it 5 years. Like, are you kidding me? Like, gosh. So, yeah, I mean,
It's so weird.
yeah,
I've
because
never
that
seen it anywhere in sports.
no, it's because you don't
So
have
strange.
unions in
Mm.
Europe. So,
Just get rid of
well,
them
you
all.
do,
Get
but
rid of the
it's not.
unions.
Yeah, get rid of the unions. Yeah, Tom.
I just saved baseball.
Yeah, just get rid of the. Yeah, no, that's unions are actually really good for the players, but it does mess with our viewing pleasure. So I don't know. Yeah, I think you boys agree probably lockout
Tom wants a salary cap, but also wants to strip
to
players.
get. Yeah,
He's,
get rid of
But
the union
he's a
owners. Like
conundrum.
give the owners everything. We're gonna have half our season in Dubai with Tom came.
I want to socialize the money, but like, fuck these players.
built to be an owner, clearly.
Tom's like, yeah. So this is when I announced I've actually had a minority stake pop up for myself.
He's like, look, ever since he got that ambassador role, he's just started licking those boots a little harder. He's just shilling a
Mm.
little more every week.
Plant.
Plant. Yeah. Canadian plant, U.S. plant, Wales plant, just Europe in general.
I do think we could do a little more for the minor league players too. I know we got better with it
Thank you.
in the last CBA, but yeah, they can still do better and take care of those kids, or just get them to their pensions, to like a little bit more of their protections a little bit earlier. Because unless you're a bonus baby, that's a real rough road.
Dude, thank you so much for bringing that up because that was the one point that I was forgetting. I knew I had one last point with the whole like salary cap floor. If you don't spend a certain amount on your revenue, that immediately goes to your minor leagues. Like, so choose where you want
Sure.
to, right? And then
And again, that's great because that's still on-field product, hopefully
exactly.
eventually, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to put it in your major league system and you feel like you're growing
Then,
great. Give it all to them kids or
yeah.
all to the development or the facilities or whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
sure.
Like there's a potential solution, right? And then what if you do that and I'm a player on the Marlins, I'm going, you just gave Joe Smith $2 million in single A and I'm making league minimum up here, we're gonna have a
Mhm.
problem, right? So that could be a potential thing too. I mean, but collectively, whether that I don't want that to be the only thing they do, like that's where I feel like the players union could also have the backs of the minor league players way, way better, just because everyone that has gotten to the majors, barring maybe one or two guys, went through the minor league system. And there's a
For at
ton of
least a
guys,
year, for at least a year or
at
two.
least a year, right? So like you're connected to that. That's how you got through the ranks. I think that they get neglected way too much. And if you invest into it as well, you're gonna have a better product on the field. It's just a fact. So
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know. Yeah, I completely agree. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I think
Future or present on-field products. Take your pick.
yeah.
Put the money
And
back toward it.
how cool would that be if AAA, Double A is just like filled with like MLB ready guys? You know what I mean? Or just even you're allowing guys that maybe are like right there that are gonna make it, but they literally can't afford it, or there's just not
Yeah,
that like carrot that's like,
lengthen their runway a bit.
yeah, like I
Yeah,
don't
let
know,
them
it's
hold
better
on a little bit
product,
longer for
but
sure.
we're just saving the economy just by doing that. Like so the local economy of Fort Wayne is gonna benefit from that. Like let's
Yeah.
come on,
I
everybody.
remember before the last collective bargaining agreement, before the last, like before they helped him a little bit, there was this Twitter account who set up the adopt a minor leaguer. I was
Oh,
I had adopted a minor leaguer for a season, which is just
oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's like this is just insane though that like we have to be like doing these these
Yes, like a
these sorts of
GoFundMe
things.
for
Like,
employees
yeah, yeah, for like
of
we're
$1 billion.
helping we're subsidizing billion-dollar companies. Like that's just that makes no sense.
Zero. Well, thank you for doing that. But yeah, that's exactly like that. How about like 10 million of Spectrum goes to the minors? Boom. You're affecting so many guys. Just don't have like three dudes to a bed. You know what I mean? Like, come on, let's be logical here. So, but all right, boys, you want to chuck in anything else before we get wrapped up?
Do we think that in this next lockout there will be some talks of expansion and restructure?
Yes, I think so. Tom?
Yeah, bring a team to the UK. That's all I'm saying.
You guys need a football team first,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jags. It's gonna be the Jags. But
probably.
yeah. Mr. Fulham.
bring mm, bring someone over, or just expand to the UK. We need it. I mean, it probably wouldn't be good for money because no one gives a shit about baseball over here, but
I would be
I want it my
brutal. I
way.
mean, it's kind of tough. Like that's been the issue of just like the thought of expanding for the NFL with 17 games a year now. Could you imagine 81 away games? You'd be like,
Oh, fucking
oh
hell.
gosh, that'd be brutal.
I'm still jet lagged.
Yeah. From like 2 months ago. Yeah, that would be insane. I mean, yeah, something, even like a developmental league or something. Like,
Or
yeah.
just putting like I know they've tried to like set up more like youth and like little leagues and
Hmm.
try to do some field development, just
Yeah.
because all the real estate is taken up by, if not soccer, rugby pitches, it's mostly farmland. So
Hmm.
that I know they're trying to a degree. I just don't know how much track
Traction.
they're getting. Like, so I don't know what has to happen for that. I mean, the best comp I think I can make is soccer in the US, and this still
Yeah.
feels like we're so far behind the rest
Yeah.
of the world, you know?
I mean, first of all, we need to get on the same freaking schedule as every other league that is competitive in the world. And then, yeah, it's just with the college system and everything, it does make it a bit more different. But yeah, and I guess last thing on that too, Brian, about the expansion, Vegas, Nashville, those the two teams that.
Vegas is already there, so it's going to
Oh,
be
duh,
more on top. So I think
duh, 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 duh.
Nashville for sure is going to be one.
Maybe
And
Portland.
then there are differing opinions.
Oh yeah,
Salt
Utah,
Lake
right? Salt
City's a
Lake,
good
yeah.
option.
Take the piss and put one in Oakland.
That'd be good.
But I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it, once you get the expansion teams and restructuring a bit, going into more East and West leagues.
Yeah.
That way, you're essentially guaranteed either like a fully bi-coastal World Series, so you're keeping both sides of the nation involved and engaged, as opposed to like what we almost had, which was like an all West Coast, which would have
Yeah,
probably
ratings would have
like
been terrible.
had
Yeah.
the entire East Coast tuning out.
Mm,
And a lot of them still might, I don't know, but not only for that sake, but I feel like just if you keep things regional, and it's a great selling point for the Players Association to be like, okay, like we're going to consolidate your travel a little bit. You're not going to be bouncing all the way back and forth.
hmm.
There's only going to be 15 series a year or maybe less where, you're going to be 3 hours behind or ahead. So that's an incentive to me. Like I think that helps fix a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I mean, is anybody really precious about like, oh, AL, NL? And I mean, the way you chop it up, you can still keep a lot of the rivalries. But I mean, rivalries evolve and change anyway. So are we really that precious about it?
I kind of am.
Yeah, I don't think you'll like lose the big
But
ones. Like Boston New
yeah,
York's
yeah.
not going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like,
On the
Yeah.
topic, get rid of the Veda Cup.
The
That
shamelessness,
I
man.
don't.
That
I
that
Major League
pissed me off
Baseball is
so much.
so
he
funny.
wasn't even when I
Like
saw him game
how
one, I'm like, you POS, but whatever, do your thing. Game two, he did like every seventh inning stretch. He's
I
celebrating
know,
with that.
but I
He
mean,
was
like
celebrating.
that's not his fault. Like, there's the Vader Cup
No,
wasn't his idea. Like, why
no,
are you guys
he's not
trying
gonna
to
say no.
force stuff? There's already so many great stories, natural rivalries, all these things out there. It's like, what is this that you've manufactured? Like, it's
It was so
it blows
bad.
the mind. Like you're trying
Yeah,
to make like Seattle, San Diego a thing.
I know. I'm like, think just because you share Peoria,
Tom, bring it up
like,
at your next
yeah, get
Red
rid.
Cloak meeting, whatever you guys do behind
I will.
Lucia.
I was first on the agenda, 100%. It's going.
Yeah.
I've already emailed them at least 3 times, waiting for them to get back.
Do we have to wear masks every time we meet? Can we maybe just like learn each other's faces for once, please?
Yeah, we actually have to turn our cameras off. It's gotta
Do
be.
you really?
No.
I
Good
bought
shit.
it.
Yeah, bought it.
Like you have to
Yeah.
take your name off the thing too. It just has to be like anonymous and the city you represent.
Yeah.
No, the reason why I got the Welsh Friar down there is because I put it on for that. Just gain a little bit of traction, gain some followers,
Sure.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
There's
Let them know
quite
who
there's
you are.
there's quite a lot of people to be fair. I'd say there's probably about 60 something. So it's
So like a
quite big.
couple representatives per team, or is it just scattered?
Yeah, so for us we got I want to say Padres Data Daily, is that his name? It's one of them on Twitter. And then what's his name? Padres blogger.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know that he was a part of it.
Yeah, so us three. And I'm not actually the only Brit either. There is another Brit in there.
Ooh,
So it's lovely.
competition, inter
Yeah,
competition.
Only Welsh person.
There you go.
Well, yeah, rectangle square, right?
Only
But
Welsh Padre fan as well.
good man. Other than Ben Davies.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Duh. Bad hammy actually now. Bummer. Anyways, thanks boys for popping back on. That felt good to kind of just like close the 2025 chapter and just start moving on here. I do I am really excited about 26 on I've been saying that before. Kind of felt like towards the end of the year it was maybe not going to have the same kind of magic as 24. I might have said 24 twice. The end of this year wasn't as going to have the same magic as 24, but I feel like we're set up real nicely for 26. So over the course of the offseason, we'll dive into that a little bit more, both detailed with the players in and out, and then just kind of general consensus. So
I
yeah,
do agree with that sentiment that like it did not feel like I thought 2024 was going to be it.
the year.
I
Mhm.
honestly, and I thought this was too. And then Adam went down. And it was like, okay,
Yep.
not great, but we're fine. And then Laureano breaks his finger. I'm like, oh God, we
We're
have
done.
to catch absolute fire. Like we need true witchcraft here. So I agree with that. Like
Yeah.
my expectations got curbed pretty quickly.
Yeah. Real
But I said
fast.
it
Yeah.
on earlier podcasts that like the window's still open and like there
Yeah.
is the push for Musgrove getting healthy, Hosmer off the books, Laureano coming back, Miller coming back, money to spend, core intact.
Suarez probably opting
Like
out. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
still am very excited about at least next year. And then I do kind of want to like give a little hat tip to Seidler Bros because in the year where they took over and a lot of things were unknown, usually when you have a major like transition like that, you know, the first order of business is to like not spend money and get a lay
Yeah.
of the land and
Yeah.
figure out how we're structuring this and what are we doing here. But I'd say for all intents and purposes, the train pretty much stayed on the tracks at an
Yeah.
expectable pace. So
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to kind of end that too. I think Schilt also deserves his flowers for that too, right? Even though, all these things about him being a dickhead and everything coming out at the end, he transitioned he doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't get enough credit for just stabling the ship and transitioning the post Peter time
yeah,
of the Padres, and him and AJ collectively, even though they obviously had their differences and they probably are the most insanely different people in the planet. That's why I love sports so much, or one of the reasons. He had a huge role in just steadying that ship and getting us to back-to-back 90-win seasons and back-to-back postseason berths. And that is way, you can look at the roster. You could also look at it in 22, right? Or excuse me, 23, when we shat the bed with that roster and everything. So it's not just who you have. It's definitely, he deserves a lot of credit for that. And he deserves that credit for sure. So,
agreed.
yeah. All right, Tom, any last remarks here?
Go Blue Jays. Padres.
Oh, I didn't even notice that background. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also, I love
Oh
the
shit, neither. What
Cardiff
happened
hat.
there?
Oh, shit. So your
Oh, well, yeah,
fan advisory
was
board
that
background.
maybe for your last MLB meeting?
Yeah. Said wear blue. I was like, all right. All right, boys. Appreciate you popping on. We'll be back here soon. We'll get Nikki and Trevor back on as well. I'm sure they're biting at the bit. We could probably just do a half hour of just Nick going. So he's probably waiting in the wings here. So we'll be back here soon. Appreciate y'all for listening to another episode of the Padres. We'll be back soon. Peace.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Podfathers, a Slam Diego Padres podcast. The Podfathers is produced by Los and Walls and is executively produced by Jacob Lamb.
Our theme song is A Bubba by Trylock. To get in touch with the show, follow us on Twitter at Podfathers619. That is at PADFATHERS619, or email us at podfathers@gmail.com. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other major audio platforms.
Go Pods!